Hello, friends. Welcome to Tea Talk, Episode 1. 4 things we all need to say out loud. The first, number 1, is I do not consent. You know, right now we are all being subjected to a very coordinated campaign of psychological terror. And the intent behind it is to render us into shock and make us go silent. Because silence is taken as consent, and we will not consent. I do not consent. I will not consent. And all of us need to say this out loud. It needs to be on the record. I do not consent. Today is June 8th, 2025. It would have been the 82nd birthday of my mother. My mom and her husband, my pop, and my dad have all passed on. Luckily, I still have Mama Faye to give me wisdom. And it's in thinking of them that's really brought me to this point that I need to speak out. So point 1 in this first episode of Tea Talk is that we all need to get to a place within ourselves where we can say clearly, I do not consent, I will not consent, I must dissent, we dissent. That's where we are today in this country, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the second thing that's very important is that the United States is going to survive this. The United States is about freedom. Freedom is something that cannot be repressed. The United States will survive this. The United States will survive this. We need to say this out loud because the other side is painting a narrative that somehow this is inevitable, that we fall into a dictatorship. No. Nope. The United States will survive this. Freedom will survive this. And it needs to be spoken to truth. We need to say this out loud. The third thing that we all need to say out loud is that the person who holds the honorable title of President of the United States at this moment, very sadly, is a traitor, the greatest traitor to the spirit of the revolution, plain and simple. The president is a traitor. The president is a traitor. The president is a traitor. We need to all speak this out loud. You know, on July 4th of this year, we will celebrate the 249th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, freedom, self-governance. And the greatest threat to that is the President of the United States. The president is a traitor. And so that brings me to the fourth point. I want to talk about something that we all need to say out loud. In the days of the revolution, the founders and the people of the colonies had a common rallying call after the Declaration. That's what gave them the spirit to win the Revolutionary War and eventually bring forth the Constitution in 1787. Well, that Constitution has failed, ladies and gentlemen, my friends. That Constitution has failed completely because there is no judicial remedy to the executive overreach. And the executive has clearly stated that they intend to pursue a policy of they have no bounds. The unitary executive theory is that they want a king. Nope. Nope. We're not going to have that. And we all need to give voice to that. So our rallying call has to be, not that we want a country of freedom, but that we want freedom under a new constitution. It's time for a new constitution. So the rallying call is freedom, new constitution. Freedom, new constitution. Freedom, new constitution. And that will be our rallying call. What do we want? We want freedom. We want a new constitution of, by, and for the people. 4 things we all need to say out loud. I wish you well, my friends. Be very, very careful. Speak your voice. Express your dissent. Make it clear that the president is a traitor. Make it clear that the United States will survive this. Make it clear that we want freedom and a new constitution. Until the next time, my friends, go carefully.